The readings will now be given by Amanda from Missouri.
The Bible. 1 Corinthians. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become a sounding brass, or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries, and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. John. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. Luke. Then said Jesus, As ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. For if ye love them which love you, what thank have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Whosoever cometh to me, and heareth my saying, and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house, and digged deep, and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house, and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. John. Now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. He riseth from supper, and laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself. After that he poureth water into a mason, and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded. Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter said unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Jesus answered and said unto him, What I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. So after he had washed their feet, and had taken down his garments, and was set down again, he said unto them, Know ye what I have done unto you? Ye call me Master and Lord, and ye say, Well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example, that ye should do as I have done to you. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. Matthew. Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane. And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and elders of the people. And Jesus said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Jesus, and took him. And behold, one of them, which were with Jesus, stretched out his hand, and drew his sword, and struck a servant of the high priest, and smote off his ear. Then Jesus said unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then shall the Scriptures be fulfilled, that thus it must be? Hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. 1 John. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought also to love one another. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us. Hereby know we that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit. God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. I will now read correlative passages from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, and from Prose Works, all by Mary Baker Eddy. The principle of all power is God, and God is love. Love. What a word! I am in awe before it. Over what worlds on worlds it hath range and is sovereign. The underived, the incomparable, the infinite all of good, the alone God is love. I make strong demands on love, call for active witnesses to prove it, and noble sacrifices and grand achievements as its results. Unless these appear, I cast aside the word as a sham and counterfeit, having no ring of the true metal. Love cannot be a mere abstraction, or goodness without activity and power. As a human quality, the glorious significance of affection is more than words. It is the tender, unselfish deed done in secret, the silent, ceaseless prayer, the self-forgetful heart that overflows, the veiled form stealing on an errand of mercy out of a side door, the little feet tripping along the sidewalk, the gentle hand opening the door that turns toward want and woe, sickness and sorrow, and thus lighting the dark places of earth. Jesus, who so loved the world that he gave his life in the flesh for it, saw that love had a new commandment even for him. What was it? It must have been a rare revelation of infinite love, a new tone on the scale ascending, such as eternity is ever sounding. Could I impart to the student the higher sense I entertain of love, it would partly illustrate the divine energy that brings to human weakness, might, and majesty. Divine love eventually causes mortals to turn away from the open sepulchres of sin and look no more into them as realities. It calls loudly on them to bury the dead out of sight, to forgive and forget whatever is unlike the risen, immortal love, and to shut out all opposite sense. Christ enjoins it upon man to help those who know not what he is doing in their behalf, and therefore curse him, enjoins taking them by the hand and leading them, if possible, to Christ by loving words and deeds. Charity thus serves as admonition and instruction, and works out the purposes of love. The new commandment of Christ Jesus shows what true spirituality is, and its harmonious effects on the sick and the sinner. No person can heal or reform mankind unless he is actuated by love and goodwill towards men. The life of Christ Jesus, his words and his deeds, demonstrate love. We have no evidence of being Christian Scientists except we possess this inspiration and its power to heal and to save. The energy that saves sinners and heals the sick is divine, and love is the principle thereof. Scientific Christianity works out the rule of spiritual love. It makes man active. It prompts perpetual goodness, for the ego or I goes to the Father, whereby man is godlike. Love, purity, meekness coexist in divine science. Lust, hatred, revenge coincide in material sense. Christ Jesus reckoned man in science, having the kingdom of heaven within him. He spake of man not as the offspring of Adam, a departure from God, or his lost likeness, but as God's child. Spiritual love makes man conscious that God is his Father, and the consciousness of God as love gives man power with untold furtherance. Then God becomes to him the all-presence, quenching sin, the all-power, giving life, health, holiness, the all-science, all law, and gospel. Love fulfills the law of Christian Science, and nothing short of this divine principle, understood and demonstrated, can ever furnish the vision of the apocalypse, open the seven seals of error with truth, or uncover the myriad illusions of sin, sickness, and death. Know then that you possess sovereign power to think and to act rightly, and that nothing can dispossess you of this heritage and trespass on love. If you maintain this position, who or what can cause you to sin or suffer? Our surety is in our confidence that we are indeed dwellers in truth and love, man's eternal mansion. Such a heavenly assurance ends all warfare and bids tumult cease. For the good fight we have waged is over, and divine love gives us the true sense of victory. O Christian Scientist, thou of the Church of the Newborn, awake to a higher and holier love for God and man. Put on the whole armor of truth. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in tribulation, that ye may go to the bed of anguish, and look upon this dream of life and matter, girt with a higher sense of omnipotence, and behold once again the power of divine life and love to heal and reinstate man in God's own image and likeness, having one Lord, one faith, one baptism. Whatever holds human thought in line with unself-love receives directly the divine power.